You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Wepppaaaa, what up, man? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. As always, you know how we do. We're doing this live, baby, and we have a legend in the house. Wepppaaaa, I am so excited. My man is a New York Times bestselling author, comic book writer, creator. He is working with a musical legend, Steve Aoki, in this dope project that's out now called HIROQUEST with an I, folks, all right? It is a dope-looking book. Look at this sexy thing right here. How dare I put it upside down? Look at this sexy thing. But no, it's not Steve that we have here, folks. We have his collaborator, his partner in crime, the legendary best-selling author, like I said, that has been all around, man. And if you've not read any of his books, shame on you. It is the one, the only, the legendary, not related to Freddie, Mr. Jim Krueger. Wepppaaaa, homie, how you doing? I know you tell me look like Freddie, but you're not related to Freddie.
No, but my nails are short too, so I took care of myself for.
Oh, there you go. Hey, listen, all us guys also gotta take care of our hands. Listen, a manicure goes far with the ladies, fellas. Hey, that's all I say. All right, so thank you for joining Jim and hanging out with me to talk about this dope book. Because let me tell you, folks, the pictures on the web do not do this book justice. I mean, look at the shine on that. Look how gorgeous this book is. HIROQUEST right here. I mean, we're going to get into this. But before we do all that craziness, we got to talk a little about Jim. I met Jim, many years ago at New York Comic Con when he was with Tom and Steve for Impact Theory. You know, great convo, great hangout, great energy. And now he's here to talk about this. Jim, for those that are unaware of the awesomeness of the Kruegerverse, if you will, let them know a little bit where you're from. And most importantly, what is the first thing in fandom that you ever fell in love with?
Well, I grew up in the Midwest, outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then ultimately went to New York, where I worked as a copywriter and worked my way up to a creative director at Marvel. So I was on staff with Marvel for a number of years and was even instrumental in developing the early plans for the MCU.
Oh, what? See, when I say Kruegerverse, my man has been everywhere. That is dope. So talk about that journey then. Okay, so.
But I'm supposed to tell you the thing that
the first thing you fell in love with, and then how that started leading you towards your creative journey.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It could be Commandy #8 by Jack Kirby.
Oh, Commandy! I had that full run, and unfortunately, I had to let it go. But I had a full run of that.
Yeah, I think I still have a full run. It's one of the few things I still have a full run of.
Nice. So, what was it about Commandy that stood out to you?
It was, well, I was so affected by the second Planet of the Apes. I was so upset about it because everyone blows up and everyone's dead, and like my heroes in it were shot down, and it was so bad. Commandy was like Planet of the Apes, but with all animals, and Commandy didn't die at the end. So I was like, oh, this is so much better. It was like that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe one of the things that are important is when I was younger, my parents took my brother and I to Disney World. We got on a train to go down to Disney World and that whole thing. And when we were there, or when we hit Chicago, my dad bought my brother a comic book, and he bought me a comic book. He bought my brother Batman, and he bought me Superman. And I was so upset. I was so upset that he got Batman and I got Superman. But it's kind of put me on this journey, and now I'm Superman all the way.
Hey, there you go. Shout out to Pops right there, Pops Krueger, putting you on and making that happen. So
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
should probably also say that we went all the way down to by the time we hit Florida, Florida was had this terrible hurricane going on, and so we went in the midst of this terrible storm, and there's like a little tunnel before you're on Main Street, and there's a castle and everything like that, and the rain stopped in the time I was in that little tunnel and came out to everything being beautiful and the sun was shining and coming through the clouds, and my dad looked down at me and said, now you know why they call it the Magic Kingdom. And I think he fucked me up for life in that moment, and that's really what put me on the journey to become a writer.
so now anytime it's raining and you walk in and it stops, you're like, oh shit, I'm in my magical circle once again.
That's right. I'm in the magic circle.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, so you had a sibling growing up that enjoyed comics, or did he or she enjoy comics?
I'm sorry?
Did your sibling enjoy comics as well, or they were just happy to have one?
Yeah, you know what? He did, but he wasn't as into them as I was.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'll get him a Batman book. Like I got him that run of Peter Tomasi's Batman and Robin years and years ago, and he loved that. So
nice. All right. So okay. So obviously there was a division there. You know, he kept being a normal dude, and you went ahead and dove into your geekdom, which I love.
I became the abnormal dude.
So outside of family, did you have a tribe growing up? You know that were enthused with your fandom as well.
That were enthused with my fandom.
Yeah, that you collaborated with, that you could share in your fandom with, you know what I mean? Or was it like type shit where you keep it quiet?
I don't know. I think in reality, you know, I don't know if I've ever really had like a tribe in that sense where like for me, writing was like kind of like deeply personal. It was more like me going into my bat cave.
Oh shit! Secret identity of Jake.
Fortress of Solitude. What did I do there? Fortress of Solitude. That's where I go.
Oh, there you go. So, where was your Fortress of Solitude, if you will?
It was usually a chair or like just like a corner somewhere. It was like very much the end of like Blair Witch, you know, where the guy's staring at the edge of the room.
Oh man, so you're just standing in the corner in the basement writing, leave me alone.
Yeah, something like that.
Love it, love it, love it. So all right, so here you are. All right, so you kept it quiet with the personal thing, but when did you know, as a young little Kreuger, decide to say, all right, I want to put myself out there and start sharing these stories? What happened? What was that day like?
It was a weird mix of going to, like, I went to Marquette University to get an advertising degree, and I started thinking of characters that I could create that would sell products and stuff like that. And so that's how the FootSoldiers was born. Johnny Stomp was going to be a spokesman for like odor eaters or something like that.
Johnny Stomp, odor, please. All right.
But like bit by bit, I started, you know, thinking about, oh, how did they get their powers? Oh, how does this happen? And bit by bit, things began to evolve. I should also say that that Alan Moore's, the early Alan Moore, like Captain Britain and Swamp Thing stuff.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that really just made me go, oh, I not only do I want to do this, I think I can.
Yeah, the Captain Britain hooked me before because Marvel was more of my first introduction. So yeah, Captain Britain, the old look, then the upgraded look, and all that ride right there. I mean, yo, I love that look. So yeah, definitely one of the early characters I fell in love with, only because they got introduced to them through Marvel Tales.
Yeah, yeah, you know? No, and I love that stuff so much, and still do. That's still one of my only full runs of books that I have. So it's Commandy, it's Captain Britain, then I guess it's Marvel Masterworks. That's what I have the full
you got the Masterworks. Those were beautiful books back in the day, man, because they were rare to get hardcovers. So I get it. I remember those. They were beautiful.
and they're still making them. There's like over 350 volumes now.
Ooh, do you have all 350, Jim?
I do.
Oh, a boss collector. You know what? Just if you ever need help moving, my back hurts that day. Just remember that.
All right.
All right. Getting now into the creative side of it and like exposing yourself. You know, I'm trying to speed this a little bit because we got to get into this beautiful book. So, what were the first steps that you took, and like what era was this? Don't be specific. I don't want you to age yourself, although we're apparently men of a certain age. But when did you get into it where you said, all right, let me see if I can land some work in this?
Oh, well, I was on staff with Marvel at the time, and this caused lots of people there to be really upset with me. But one of the guys who was there, HIROQUEST. When did I start HIROQUEST? Oh,
no,
okay.
no, not that. Gary was asking Jim what are working on now. I'm just letting him know you are working on. This is what you worked on right here, and this is what we're talking about, Gary.
Yeah, I'm working on the second book. I'm working on the second book right now.
Great, but but not to ignore Gary.
Like
Gary, we'll talk about this in a moment.
I did a couple things. I did a backup with Tim Sale in Excalibur 75 on Nightcrawler, and even part of that ended up in the Logan movie, because the MCU they all read my stuff, and so there's a point in which Nightcrawler saves someone this woman from a fire, but when she sees him appear with all the flames, she thinks he's a demon, and so then he teleports her out, saves her, but she still runs away from him, and he's just so overwhelmed by this and bothered by this that he ultimately goes to a confessional. And it's in the confessional that even as he confesses he's a mutant, the priest is a little bit like, oh my gosh, the priest is nervous. But then the priest ultimately ends it all, and Nightcrawler has this scarf on that has the X insignia on it. The priest ultimately ends by saying we all have our crosses to bear, and that gives Nightcrawler hope. And it was just a little short story, but it was also Tim Sale's first work for Marvel.
So you got to work with the legendary, may he rest in peace, Tim
Sale. He was so good.
Wow. So all right, so you guys were New Jacks coming in together into the game, man. Amazing, amazing. And I could feel what Nightcrawler went through, growing up in New York and not, and being different. And when I would try to help someone, because I looked different, they thought that I had other intentions, especially back in the day. If I had bought heads, gold fronts, and cuts in my eyebrows, and brow earrings, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, I may not look like the friendliest person, but believe you me, I probably have more heart and soul than most motherfuckers in New York. All right. All right. So, all right. So you did that. How was that journey? Did it get easier and you getting work and opportunity after that?
I remember that Bob Harris really liked the script that I wrote, and he really liked the look of the book. And Tim, especially at that time, was not your typical X-Men, artist. And so
that's a new style.
Yeah, it was like the backup feature was a bigger deal than the front feature. But anyhow, it led to a couple other stories here and there, and I was writing for Marvel Vision magazine too, and so I did this thing in that called Time Slip, in which an artist would have to recreate one of the classic Marvel heroes as if Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko or John Romita never did. And so that suggested a different almost origin by the look of it. So I would write these alternate origins, these different takes on the characters. And Alex Ross, who I had already been promoting and had already become a friend, he loved that so much. And it was really that led to Earth X. Because Earth X was never even going to be a series. It was just going to be like a magazine, like an article. And Alex was like, well, why don't you do that thing you do for Time Slip for Earth X or for this? And so I did. And then in the midst of that, I came up with a giant idea, the whole Earth is an egg, celestial, all that stuff. And Alex was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a real project now."
I love it, man. And again, hooking up with Alex, this is also Alex Ross starting young too, because you've been in the game a minute. So is this also an opportunity where you grew with Ross, or was he already in the game a bit?
Oh, he was already in the game. He was like, Marvels had already come out, Kingdom Come had already come out, and the way this came together was Wizard Magazine had asked him to do an article of, because he did the aged DC universe of what the Marvel universe would look like older. And then that article turned into this giant thing.
So what would this, okay, so from that time to the present day, let's go. What's that journey been like? I mean, what type of changes have you seen in the industry as you've journeyed through it from then to now?
Well, the one thing I always tell people, everything, is that this is an industry that it's show friends, it's not show business. There are business people in it to do the business, but really, if you're gonna on a regular basis work with people and do different things with people, you need to work with them like they're your friends.
Yes.
So it's always been about making friends.
Dig it. I mean, that's what it is. This is nerddom. You guys are sharing in a fandom and a love of something that, again, not everybody is. It is niche. For as big as it is still niche. Not everybody likes it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, you see these film directors talking smack of some of our Marvel films, for example. They're just haters because they haven't had a hit in years, in my opinion. That's just me saying, talking smack. But I'm not saying that all the movies are great, but hey, it's just what the moment is, and enjoy the thrill ride. Let's go with it.
Well, and the thing is, especially if you're a writer in this industry, there are sometimes gigs you're going to get that you don't like, that you don't feel that inspired by, and sometimes you need your collaborator to be the one that inspires, and letting the conversation go back and forth of what this could be and all that kind of thing.
Isn't that beautiful to world build?
Yes.
It's a nice molding of the ponds. But this book right here, geez, I mean, you worked with Steve prior, right? Like talk about you even meeting Steve prior to this. What was that relationship like before this conversation came up?
Well, it was awesome to work with Tom and Steve on Neon Future. It was just awesome. It was like super fun, and we there was lots of collaboration. There were lots of writers involved in that one, including Tom, who they gave me I think top writing credit, but I would say that should be Tom's. That was Tom's engine that he drove with Steve. But it was cool. It was cool showing up at a Comic-Con, and that's where you and I met in New York, and that's the first time I met Steve.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Look, I mean, that was a great press conference. Here's little old Comic Crusaders sitting next to CNN and CBS. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool. That was my first big media experience as well. I was like, wow, this is fire, and I dug it very much. So that's where you guys met. Now, was HIROQUEST, like something that was born then and it progressed to the future, or when did this conversation come up?
Yeah, what was so great about this is I was at a show, at one of Steve's shows. Like every once in a while, if I see he's going to be near me or something like that, I'll go to a show. And I was in the green room with him and his guys, and Steve was just like, "Oh my gosh, you're here. I'm so glad, because I need someone to write this book with me, and here you are. Awesome. Done."
God has called. God brought me Jim K, and it's a wrap. That's what he said. All right, I hear it. I feel the energy.
Yeah, no. And it was really fun. I was like, huh, okay. And that became one of the major things I did last year.
Dope. Dope. So talk about working with Steve on this. Dope. Again, let me put myself on just a tad bigger screen and then I'll put him into the first. But I mean, look at this, folks. Look at this book. I mean, this cover. Look at the back. And now, you know, for everybody that always likes that shelf porn, yes, she's girthy, baby. Look at that.
Yep.
It's
a big book.
Yeah, and look at that with spine artwork, baby. You don't normally get that in a lot of books, unfortunately. But this is what makes this so effing gorgeous to me, too. When you put this on the shelf, people will pick, what is that? It stands out. And the beauty of this book is a couple of things, all right, folks? It's prose, yes, but you get some graphic as well. I mean, I think this is one of the best and fire looks of a graphic novel I have seen in a very, very long time. A wonderful mix of both. So, Jim, get into it. Let's start talking. Let's start telling these people why you need to pick up this baby. Talk to us first about what is HIROQUEST.
It's almost this giant creation that Steve came up with, which is based on his music. It's based on, you know, he's had a number of albums set in this specific universe. He's got a card game. He's got collectibles and all that
clothes. I saw the clothes, and I even mentioned that each chapter is actually a title of one of his songs in his album.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, no one's done it yet, but someone could get really, if they really go through it quickly, there's a piece of a lyric in each of those corresponding chapters.
Oh, man, are you gonna make me go back and have? Woo, guy, what are you doing? Now I'm gonna read it with more intent as I listen to the album. I love it. Thank you.
And so, I mean, the basic story is it's about a kid named Hiro who is, and that's Steve's middle name, by the way.
His middle name is Steve Hiro Aoki?
Yeah, it's a bigger name than that, but yes, Hiro is his middle name.
So that means that if you actually want to call him for sure, you call him Shah. Shah, S-H-A, Mr. Shah. How are you doing? No, it's dope. Okay.
So it's the story of a kid who discovers, and it's found out that Earth is going to be destroyed, and so some scientists take him and they augment him, they mutate him, they give him power and all that sort of thing to send him 400 years into the future to collect 10 rings of power from 10 different worlds. So then he'll be able to come back and he'll be able to save Earth.
God, why is it so important to save Earth? Have you seen the world we live in? He's a hero, I get it. But have you seen the world we live in? Doesn't deserve saving.
So when you get into it, you'll see that there are 10 sections with maybe 3-4 chapters each in those sections, and each section corresponds to a different world.
Dig it. Yeah. Right now, what was it? I'm up to chapter. Yeah, I'm reading.
Yeah, I think you're about to start the AI world.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. And I'm so much into AI that I really can't wait to all right, what are you guys doing with AI on this? Yeah, this is gonna be crazy. I dig it. But yeah, the story is beautiful. Why this look of it? Because again, as I said, it's so different. Like we've seen it, for example, Dark Horse Comics, when they did Conan, they had a little prose in the back, but you read the comic book first and then prose in the back. Watchmen, at the end of the book, you get a little something, right? It kind of prose-ish. But here is a beautiful amalgam and mix of both the prose and the graphic, which it seems like you're talking about the future, but then when you bring in the graphic, you're bringing us back to the past, huh? I mean,
right, so
this is very Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, well, the graphic section at the end of each chapter is really to tell Hiro's origin, how he went from a normal kid to this mutated hero. you know, who will save the world. So what's interesting is as the story's progressing in prose, 400 years before in more of a manga format, we're getting to know Hero's story as well. And then even after those chapters, there are more visuals and more images to show some of the characters who show up in the book and talk about abilities they have and all that kind of thing.
I mean, again, it's just beautiful. The artistry, everything in this, the writing is fun. I mean, look at this, folks. I mean, you see some crazy artistry like that. I mean, look at that, whatever. I mean, you know, this is great. So, how long is this project? Because this thing is girthy. It's scary. Like, how long has this project been going on? How long you guys were building this?
Well, Steve brought me into it and talked about, you know, the 10 rings and the 10 worlds and Hero's journey and stuff like that. I want to say that was maybe February of last year, January of last year.
Okay.
And so it took me a number of months working with Steve, going back and forth to get it written, of course. And then it was getting all the graphics done and all that sort of thing. But, you know, I mean, it's a 50,000 word epic.
Ooh,
so
50,000.
Plus the comics, plus everything.
Because again, folks, I mean, look at the beauty of this. Look at that panel just right here. Look at this. Look at that. Jesus. I mean, talk about the artistry too. I mean, who built the team all together? Because, you know, obviously mentioned Steve and yourself, but the team right here, editor, artist scout. So wait, so you guys were scouting artists on this, or how does this even work? Because I was trying to find a definitive name, but it's like so many names.
So I would say, I mean, Steve's guys, he has such awesome guys working for him, and then he brought in Matthew Medney, who is the publisher of Gungner, who puts the book out, and so Matthew and I would go down all the characters and stuff like that, and then send artists to Steve and be like, do you like this artist? Should we put this artist on this character or this character? And then sometimes the art would change or that kind of thing. But it was really just a lot of people, but it was Steve, Matthew, and myself. But then Matthew really did so much of the work, you know, grabbing artists, bringing in artists, putting the whole book together and making sure it looks as good as it does.
Yeah, I mean, it is a gorgeous book. I mean, and why that publisher, Gunyear? I mean, well, that Steve worked with them prior. They're a new publisher, because this is the first time I heard of them, and I am again totally impressed by their presentation, because this is gorgeous. Like, there's no way this could sit at shelves at any store. No way. If somebody sees this, they're picking this up.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. It's really different. I mean, even kind of the way it's formatted, formatted is different when you get into it. And Steve has worked with Matthew many times, and so they all, you know, and Matthew comes from music himself. So
okay.
Again, everything, making sure that everything fit together and everyone was, you know, kind of, you know, bringing their A game to it. That was always the goal.
So how does the comic book nerd like yourself, you know, chill with these musicians? You know what I mean?
I don't know. No, you're right. I am such a nerd, you know.
Yeah. You and me are both like I've hung out with some musicians, and their energy. I have energy, but goddamn, they murder me. They murder me on energy. I'm like, all right, Wepppaaaa, like, calm down. I mean, they're giving me the Wepppaaaa. You know what I mean? Hey, big shout out to Genuine Comics, to Daniel, Barry, to Big Awesome, and of course Gary. You know, thank you for tuning in, checking out what Jim is up to with this book right here. I mean, you guys can't see this right here, but this is foil. This shines so beautifully in the light that no image that you see anywhere will do the beauty of this book justice. I'm telling you. I mean, look at this. I'm telling you, it's prose, but it's beautiful art. look at this, folks. You read, you see. You read, you see. Wepppaaaa. I mean, this book got me excited. Like, I haven't been excited about reading something in quite some time. Having this in hand, like I've been reading. You see, not lying to you, all right? See, that's my placeholder. I'm enjoying it. I'm digging it, and going through the first world and seeing the character, how he approaches what he is going through. Where does that come from? Where did you pull from to dig into how Hero feels about the journey? You and Steve, of course.
Yeah, well, we really knew from the beginning that Hero was just going to, like, no one knows how to save the world at the beginning, and so we really wanted just to be in his head with his thoughts and almost grab something like an old school Peter Parker mentality, where there's all these doubts, where there's all these things, and what's great about it is, like, I'm a big believer that the heroic journey is a difficult one, that it should be hard to save the world, that it should be difficult, and it brings its own set of doubts, its own sense of, wait, what am I doing here? Am I doing the right thing? And it was great to let our character become stronger and more kind of confident, but at the same time less confident in the journey he's doing, because every time he takes a ring from one of these worlds, it affects the people of those worlds. It affects those worlds itself. And so he's beginning to realize that to save Earth means he could be doing some damage to other worlds. And so that begins to play itself inside of him too.
I cannot wait. See, you keep pulling me in. I was like, you know what? Should I just stop the podcast right now and finish the book? Because, geez, I was seeing that. And again, that conflict. That's what I like. Because, again, when you're doing something as a hero or a villain, there is that inner conflict. And in comic books, sometimes we don't get the inner conflict. It's just the guy's bad, these are the good guys, and this is the mission. No.
Well, yeah.
That conflict you got to dig into.
And I totally agree. I miss word balloons so much.
Yeah.
I miss when we were inside characters' heads. It seemed like that was one of the truly unique and interesting things about about comics as a whole. And,
Yes.
I think there was just a period in which writers were taking on 8, 9, 10 books a month, and they just weren't making them something that takes 10 minutes. 15 minutes to read. Like, all of a sudden,
yeah, it bores me.
Yeah.
I'm an 80s child. My comic book used to take me at least 30 minutes to read, because of all the word bubbles and, of course, experiencing the art. Now they pick up a book, you're done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or less. Not fair. Like, over here, I'm only on chapter 4, you know what I mean, if you will, of the first arc, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's taking me time, and I love it. Thank you, Jim, for giving me something where I could just sit down and read and not have to stare at the screen and actually absorb, understand, and actually be intrigued by a story. You are a master craftsman, my brother. You and Steve.
Thank you.
Are y'all building here? This is fun. It is new, it's unique, and again, the look, yes. And this book is also weighty. You know what I mean? So, don't put this in your luggage at the airport. Hold it on you so that way they don't charge you, because they'll probably charge you for the weight of this book alone, all right?
Yeah, they could. Well, and we wrote it too. We wrote each chapter. Like, there's no like really long chapters.
No, they're not either. Thank you. Yes. That's another thing.
It's more like
I got through it. Like, you know what I mean? Because look where I got through it even before talking to you. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, so I could probably finish this. Give me 3 days of good time and I'll be done with it. 3 or 4 days of good time to sit down and enjoy without people bothering me, folks. Please let Almega not do a podcast for today. But yeah, bro, Jim, for real. And folks, I'm not talking this shit. Like, I put the approved by Comic Crusaders authority, because this is definitely should be on your must-buy list. If you have a nerd in your life, hand them this book, please, please. Believe you me that ladies, gentlemen, whomever, y'all gonna be very happy with what homie's doing here. Now, with this story that we have here, right? I can't stop going with the book because it's just such a gorgeous book, and I like something with weight on it. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm working out. Are we getting more hero quests? I mean, is this just the beginning? Is this more? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, Steve and I, like a month ago, Steve and I sat down and we worked through the entire second book.
Oh man, I'm excited. Wepppaaaa, so what's going on there? Is she gonna be just as girthy? You know, when is that due? What's going on?
Yeah, no, it'll have a similar thing, but I should say that if HeroQuest Book 1 is Star Wars, HeroQuest 2 will be The Empire Strikes Back. Because it goes darker. It goes like when you get to the end of HeroQuest 1, you're gonna be like, wait, what just happened? And then HeroQuest 2 starts right back in it.
I am pretty sure that based on his quest, there's going to be repercussions. Because just going from the first chapter, and what he did there, and notice what he did, you know, and I'm thinking of the type of beings. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you folks, but you read this, you understand the type of beings that he just after with on the first story alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of, in the back of my head, I was like, this motherfucker's not gonna get away with this.
Yeah, no. I mean, there are real consequences to come.
Yeah. Oh my God, you are a tease, man. Like I told somebody else before, I think I need to put a stripper pole icon with comics just circling it because you're giving us a comic book tease right now, like a mother, Jim. For real. I can't wait, folks. You know what's important that you need to know, that this is in shops now. You could pick up this baby, hold it in your hand, smell that ink, see that beautiful art. Talk about this team though, because look at that art. I mean, you and Steve are the writers, but I mean, but all these creative team members. I mean, look at this. Look how beautiful.
What's really wild is each manga section at the end of one of the world things, each one is drawn by a different artist.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. I mean,
all handpicked by Matthew and Steve.
And you enjoy the crap out of it in the styles because yes, different artists, but they keep a tone to it, and especially when it comes to the coloring. Oh fuck, bro! I'm a big coloring guy. Like you're gonna compliment that art, you better color that shit right too, man. And look at this. I mean, this book is beauty from beginning to end, yo, for real. I mean, look at this stuff. It's just a beautiful book. And again, girthy, folks. I love that. I mean, and when we get volume 2, are we getting another character on the spine? Is it something that's going to be like an extended piece of art or what? What do you guys
well, yeah, there's a, without giving too much away, by the time we get halfway through the book, they're sending another hero to help Hero.
Oh,
and that's Hiro.
Gotcha. Love it. I mean, folks,
and let's just say that Hiro's way of saving Earth is a little different than Hero's. I know you like conflict.
Yes.
Those are my hints.
And you know what? All I'll say is I'm a villains fan, or rather, different thinking heroes. And yeah, so if you're
on what was really interesting. Oh, I was going to say that some of the people that we've done interviews with, Steve and I, and stuff like that, who've read it, are like, you know what? This is like deep. Like we didn't expect. We were so surprised by what you guys did.
Well, that's the thing. When I was watching some of Steve's interviews with some local broadcasters when you guys were doing the Golden Apple, and how he was signing, and he was mentioning how, you know, a lot of things is pulled from him, you know, in his journey and all. And he was pulling from different arcs of his own story, you know, and just putting it in a superheroic way. So I find that to be pretty cool. So as I read that, and again, that's why I mentioned that internal conflict that he has, I was really impressed by that. It's not something we're seeing in comics nowadays, you know, the internal struggle of the person that's trying to accomplish something, that actually asks questions. Why the fuck am I doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, what's up what am I bringing? Is this something worthy? I'm questioning myself. Like, am I doing the right thing? You don't get that in most books nowadays. So thank you, Jim and Steve, for keeping it with that old school level and keeping it interesting. So I'm saying, after we're done here, I'm going to continue reading, and I will definitely email you to tell you, like, yo.
Awesome. Please do.
Because
Please do. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what your favorite world is.
Well, yeah, as well. I'm digging into the AI right now, and I am a fan of the current AI. Hate me if you want, folks. For business sense, AI is wonderful. For the artistry, I understand it, and I understand, and I hope that artistry can be protected. But on the business sense, AI, it's going to be doing a lot of crazy shit for people that don't know business. When it comes to contracts, I'm talking about things like that type of verbiage. Yeah, if we could take lawyers out of work, that'd be great. Those bastards. Anyway, so let's see where we go as I dive into all 10 worlds now. I need to know, will you guys be creating swag out of this? Because I saw Steve sporting some cool shit at the Golden Apple. Steve, I remember going in the year that we met, and I went with my ex-wife, and her, she liked Steve Aoki, but she didn't care about anything that he had produced or done. Her first question to him was, "What do you use for your hair?" You know what I mean? I'm like, oh damn, what a question! I would never have asked him that, because I'd be like, yo, well, wonderful. But he's a stylish dude. Like, are we getting 10 rings of swag or something? Where can we get?
I think Steve's going in every direction possible.
Yo, Steve, I want some swag. I'm model, baby. This old man still got it, baby. Come on. Yeah, I was digging it. Now, I know you did that signing, and it's summertime, baby, here in the States. Talk to me. Are you doing any conventions this year where we could meet you, or maybe even Steve? Are you doing anything together where we could get this signed? Because I'm definitely putting this in my bag wherever I find out you're at, because I need you to sign this.
Well, I haven't figured out my convention schedule yet for the summer, just because there's some family health issues back in Wisconsin I'm going to have to attend to, and stuff like that.
Hope, positive vibes your way, my brother.
But thank you so much. I know that I know that I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I always go to Comic-Con.
San Diego.
Yeah. And there's another one coming up. I think it's going to be a pop-up con, but nothing's known for sure what's going to happen, and that's in Vegas. So, okay. And that'll be sometime this summer. And then I'll definitely do New York in October.
I'll see you in New York, because I'm in there, and I'll definitely got to be bringing this book. And will volume 2 be out by then, or is that like a next year thing?
No, volume 2 will be next year.
All right, bet. So I'm bringing this baby, my hot, beautiful, gorgeous looking book right here, with all this dopeness, folks. I have no idea. Great. Again, the pictures that you see on the web just do not do the book justice. Honest to God, it just doesn't. When I saw it, I'm like, wow, you can even appreciate the highlights that they're doing here. The foil. It looks so good, and it stands out.
Yeah, they did such a good job.
Yeah, the cover is gorgeous, and again, it's weighty. It looks great. It reads great already. I can't wait to finish. So Jim, before we go, I know you're a busy man, and I need you to finish part 2, and get into part 3, 4, and 5, because I think this is something that seems that it could last forever, because it's gorgeous. Any advice for up and coming creators up nowadays? Based on your journey?
I would say, like, every day I try to watch something, read something, and write something.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be equal parts, 2 hours here, 4 hours there. But just watch something, read something, and write something every day. Or draw something. Or, like, constantly be fueling your own creativity, while at the same time you're fueling your own creativity by seeing the creativity of others, but then at the same time you need to be putting that somewhere.
Yes.
And so I would say that, and then there's that thing I said before about show friends. You know, the more you talk to your collaborators, the more you get into it with people, the better things are going to be. And you know, everyone wants to make good stuff. You know.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm showing off these pages. Look how beautiful the artistry is, how it flows. I mean, look at this, folks. This is a dope book, and what I'm showing you is the shop. All right, this is where you got to go right there. Boom, that's the page below. I have it in the links. Pick up this book today, and the cover artist, that way you guys know of this dope looking cover, is Lip Wei Chang. Fantastic. I mean, they're putting this under the science fiction genre because definitely all the world traveling and the science fiction stuff. But you know, there's definitely also some heroism and all. You know, for teens and above. It's a graphic novel. It is absolutely beautiful. And as I said, it's a mix of prose, traditional graphic novel. It is fun. It keeps you engaged and energy. I can't wait to finish. I've had a good time. Not just that, but you know, you can also check out Steve's website over here. It tells you where to go. You know, Barnes and Noble, Dim Mac, Amazon, got everything right here. And lastly, I got a little something. I'm gonna play just a bit of it. You know, Steve, don't get me smacked on YouTube for this, please. But I just gotta show it because I was not aware about the musical angle of this until I started researching. I said, "Oh shit, my man, it actually has a Hero Quest anthem." Check this out real quick, folks.
Yeah, there are a number of HIROQUEST albums, and if you go to like Steve's shows or anything like that, he's got the animation of HIROQUEST behind him as he's performing.
Yeah, he's the man. Check this out, folks. Just a little quick snippet. Check it out. Check it out. Steve is so much fun, man. Steve is so much fun. You see that he's so energizing to this culture. Even when I met him way back, or when we met you, you know, that energy behind the culture, behind the music, the comic culture, the fashion, and everything. I mean, yeah, man, he knows what's up. I'm definitely a Steve fan. I'm a Jim Krueger fan. Nobody, like, bro. I mean, these guys are just killing it. I mean, you guys collaborating are just bosses on some real level shit, man. So, you know, as a fan to a creator, I just want to say thank you for just sharing and your artistic ability with us. You know what I mean? And your writing ability. Thank you so much. And, you know, and just sharing that brain of yours and these amazing stories and just putting it out there. I'm digging it. I'm a Kreuger fan for real. And folks, you know, you can substitute to be a Kreuger fan. Go to Gunyear, pick this up. Go check out Steve's website over there at HIROQUEST. But I need you to follow my man Big Jim Krueger over here at Jim Krueger on both Instagram and X, baby. All right, get her done. Follow this man, this myth, this legend over here that is getting her done day in and day out. You know, to keep us entertained and happy and alive and feeling the world, baby. So, you know, so Jim, thank you again. I really appreciate you joining and taking some time out of your busy day to chit chat. Now, wait. I gotta ask, son. What is that above your left shoulder? That art?
Oh, so remember I told you that was about that Tim Sale story?
Yeah.
That's the Tim Sale story.
Oh, it is? Hey, yep. Dope. He got that frame. Hey, he got it framed all 8 pages.
I didn't even get it framed. Like the people I was working with at Marvel all got together and did that for me. So it was a really special gift from them.
Yo, that is fire. Yeah, that caught my eye. I was like, what is that? It looks so cool and familiar. There we go. Dig it. I love it. Big Jim Krueger in the building, folks. Like I said, all the links are below, but please follow my man Jim on Instagram and X at, what was it?
Yeah, thank you so much.
The letter M, Jim Krueger at Instagram and X, all right? And all other links are below. HIROQUEST. This is what it is, baby. This is a beautiful book, girthy. It is shelf porn, but it is a wonderful read. That's a beautiful book that will keep you engaged and entertained. And again, you're gonna be reading for a minute. This isn't a traditional comic book where it's gonna take you 5 minutes. And you're like, oh, that's it. No, this is definitely value for your buck. And you want to understand how? Just go to Gunyear books.shop and pick this book up today. And with that, thank you again, Jim. Thank you, my fellow Crusaders, for tuning in and checking it out. Hasta la próxima. I'm Al Mega. Big Jim. Wepppaaaa.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.